Let's get started. I appreciate everyone joining. Again, for those of you who I haven't met before, I'm Bobby Narang. I'm one of the co-founders here at Opensense and incredibly excited to walk you through our new UI, explain to you a little bit more about Opensense as a platform. Obviously, we've been known for the entirety of our 12-year existence as an email signature platform, but really, Opensense is so much more. And that's really what we're going to focus on today. We're going to give you a little bit of an overview of our vision for the importance of every single interaction that your company is engaging in just the normal course of day-to-day business. And that lends itself to moments for your brand. And ultimately, how your brand is perceived drives business outcomes. And so we're really going to kind of orient our storyline around interactions leading to brand moments that lead to business outcomes today. Um, we're going to get a little bit of a tour into the new Opensense user interface. Some of you may have already experienced some of this, which for those of you who've provided feedback, we really appreciate it. But we'll take a look at some of the new awesome capabilities that have been designed to empower you to give you more confidence in executing your strategy around really kind of harnessing the power of brand and its potential impact on business outcomes. So thank you so much again for joining today. So this whole idea of interactions turning to brand moments and brand moments turning into business outcomes is really the result of 12 years of building a business where 99% of our business and customers, we've basically signed up through digital interaction. What I mean by that is we set up demos on Zoom, kind of like this meeting, and we follow up over email. And we're no longer in this environment, at least at Opensense, but I think for all of us post-COVID, where you're having business lunches and happy hours and interacting with your customers and your partners and your vendors as much in person. A part of that obviously is the post-COVID world, and a part of that also is just we've been empowered with tools to make interacting more easy, more immediate, and ultimately it drives impact. And I think one of the things that we've realized is that our ability to tell a story about who we are as a company. Sure, we have our logo and we have our website, but really how our digital interaction and our interaction in general is perceived, those are really the brand moments that let you know a little bit about who we are. And when you know a little bit about who we are, ultimately, our belief is that drives outcomes that we look for. And I'll explain a little bit more about what I mean as we continue. Um, I want to share a little bit about sort of how interactions create brand moments, where things can go poorly and where things can be really enhanced. And the interesting thing about it is that interaction, especially as it pertains to email, it happens all throughout there's influence from all different stakeholders in your business. I mean, when we start with marketing and brand, I think to illustrate this, I actually wanted to share an example with you of how you show up is who you are. And this kind of speaks to sort of the functionality with OpenSense that is oriented around email signatures. And you all know the numbers around this, especially for those of you who are customers of ours. Every 100 employees will send about 1 million emails a year. And on average, an email is opened between 2 and 3 times per send. And so when you kind of think about the numbers, more people are interfacing with your brand via email than they might ever experience your brand through any other channel. And where this can go poorly, I just want to show you an example here. I'm going to pull over an email that's in my inbox here from Chase Bank. Chase Bank is a bank that many of us might be familiar with, and this is an email that I got from a Chase Bank member. And you can kind of see at the bottom, there's some contact information, there's a couple of signatures here, and then there's all these differently formatted disclosures. Chase Bank is one of the largest, most prestigious firms in the world, but this email looks like spam to me. And it certainly does not forebode, it does not convey any sentiment of confidence in doing business with Chase Bank. And ultimately, for Chase, that's like a missed opportunity. Alternatively, there are customers like Snowflake, for instance, who, when they IPO'd, they were the largest technology IPO ever. They wanted to, number one, make sure that everybody at their company was wearing the same team uniform. But then beyond that, that they were taking advantage of the trusted relationships between their employees and their customers to promote one-to-one campaigns that were driving business outcomes, such as event registrations, webinar signups, you name it. So that's an example where an interaction can have either a really negative brand moment and ultimately business outcome, or alternatively, a more positive brand moment and outcome as it pertains to customers. From a sales standpoint, how many of us have sat through sales calls where it really feels like the seller just really maybe hasn't done their research or hasn't really been paying attention to the things that we need? I think as consumers in this day and age, when we bring to the conversation exactly what we want, because we're so well informed, we expect our salespeople to be as informed as well. So when your seller shows up to a meeting and it's clear that they haven't done their research, that's a interaction that ends up having a negative brand moment impact, which ultimately makes me not necessarily want to do business with that brand. Alternatively, there's customers of ours like Five9 who utilize our email insights and engagement tracking suite, who know exactly when their prospects are interacting with their white papers, their product tear sheets, and not only that, are able to identify exactly what elements or aspects of their offering their customers or prospects seem to be the most interested in. So when they initiate a phone call, it's at the right time and they're talking about the right things. And they're able to close more business because they're meeting the customer where they want to be. And that's an example of where another interaction results in a positive brand moment and ultimately drives a positive business outcome. From a compliance and IT standpoint, we live in an ever more regulated society. And you think about GDPR, CAN-SPAM, CASL. There's all different types of standards that empower our audiences to have a point of view on how they want to interact with your brand. And there are scenarios where in certain jurisdictions, people have the right to say to you, hey, I don't want to be contacted with any commercial offers. And for the marketers who are on the call, for any of you who are in compliance or on the call, you have this on lockdown when it comes to your email marketing platforms, whether you're using HubSpot, Marketo, Salesforce, MailChimp, very clearly defined opt-outs and very easy to manage that. But how do you prevent your account executive who lives 2,000 miles away from drafting and sending an email to someone who's told your brand, I don't want to hear from you about a commercial offer? It's nearly impossible, and it puts your brand and ultimately your business at risk. There's actually monetary impact potentially in addition to brand impact. Well, we have customers like Optomi who come to mind who had a similar challenge as it pertained to their business, where individuals had the right to ask the company not to reach out with commercial offers. And Opensense provided a solution to be able to scale out their opt-outs and their preferences into their Outlook environment so that we were never creating that negative brand experience. And in fact, it was quite the opposite. It reflected positively on the brand that those preferences were being acknowledged and adhered to. So I wanted to kind of illustrate for you just some of the challenges around interactions that exist for most businesses today. And it very much scales beyond just email signatures. And that's why we've built a platform that scales beyond email signatures. Now, that said, it starts there. And let's be honest about that. As I mentioned before, email is a place where there's so much interaction and interfacing with your brand that's occurring. And often it's not just the people and the content of the emails. It's also, again, referencing that Chase email signature example, it's an opportunity for you to Show the prospects, your customers, and your partners who you are. Like I was thinking about examples. I mean, if you see a police officer walking down the street wearing their uniform, you know who they are. You know what they're there to do. Um, I don't know why the Rockettes come to mind. I remember seeing them as a kid up at in New York City, and when they come out on stage, wearing their sequins, you know that there's some leg kicks that are coming. How you show up is who you are. And so the platform starts obviously with our email signature management, but we've expanded brand compliance into digital business cards. And I'm reminded of the scene in American Psycho where Patrick Bateman is having a little bit of a meltdown as the associates are comparing the coding of their business cards. It matters. How you show up matters. How you are exchanging your information with your prospect when you do meet them in person matters. And so we'll touch a little bit on that a little bit later today. Um, the email signature marketing. One of the really interesting things about email as well is that when it's one-to-one, like if I send you an email, you know who I am, you're opening that email. You know what I'm about because we have a relationship. And so when marketing piggybacks to utilize my real estate to promote our new UI offering or a new webinar that's coming up, that's kind of a trusted relationship that the brand is able to take advantage of. And so Opensense empowers marketers to take advantage of that at scale. On the insights and analytics side, how we follow up matters. Knowing when to pick up the phone and call a customer versus when to maybe let an opportunity breathe. Um, this is another example of where interactions drive that brand moment and ultimately the business outcomes. And we talked a little bit about email compliance, things like ensuring you're not emailing individuals who've expressly opted out. Easy to do when you're sending an email from Marketo, much harder to do when you're trying to prevent an AE who's just trying to do their job from sending an email on the road from their iPhone. But Opensense has developed solutions to impact that use case as well. And then from an email security standpoint, look, as we bring more and more cloud solutions into our stack, SPF lookup limits become an issue as well. And Opensense has developed patented technology to help to unlock the power of SPF records and ensure that emails are getting into the inbox with the highest levels of security measures possible. So again, I wanted to make sure that we set the stage for why we've built out our new UI. It's the result of a belief that every interaction that you're engaging with your customers, your prospects, your vendors, your partners, um, they have the ability to leave a lasting impression, to create these moments for your brand, and they kind of become a reflection of what your brand represents. And so we wanted to build a platform that allows you to have greater amounts of control and capability to take those brand moments and turn them into positive business outcomes. And so with that, I want to introduce you to the new UI. Opensense is more than just an email signature platform. We're a platform that's going to help you to harness the power of your brand and your people to again have those positive influences on brand and ultimately drive those business outcomes. The way that we're going to do that is first and foremost with a platform that is modern, that is sleek, that reflects the power of the solution that we're providing. For the last decade, we've lovingly referred to Opensense as a very enterprisey solution, powerful, maybe a little clunky. Um, no more. Our platform is on par with the top B2B platforms, software platforms that are out there today, and we can't wait to show it to you. And for those of you who are interested, you can execute your entire strategy directly from your phone, which is really, really useful and very, very powerful. Advanced email signature management. Look, we'll talk about some of the things that are going to equip you with the confidence that you need to be able to execute your strategy across hundreds, if not thousands, of employees. I often equate it to if you're going from driving a Toyota to driving a Ferrari. There's a little bit of like there's a little bit of power there that you may not be used to. So we're going to provide the tools and the guardrails to make sure that you can have confidence to go alongside that power that we're going to be providing right at your fingertips. Our enhanced campaigns and dashboard. Look, intuitively as marketers, we believe that signatures are a channel that can be effective for many of our marketing objectives. Well, we want to equip you with the insight, the data, the analytics for you to say with confidence that, yes, this is the ROI on my investment, CFO, and I'd like to refund this project next year. Here's all the impact that this has created for me downstream. So can't wait to show you our new analytics dashboard. We'll touch on insights and sales tracking, which is another way for you to, again, capture engagement with those interactions to create positive brand moments. And then we'll also be touching on digital business cards, which is a really fantastic solution to ensure that when we have those in-person engagement, that we're still bringing our best representation of our brand and ultimately ourselves. So let's get started with the product spotlight. So we're going to kind of take a look at each of those elements one by one. And let me go ahead and start this process. So yeah, basically, a couple of the new elements that you'll find in the email signature designer studio is first and foremost just overall just an easier formatting and automation and just visibility and confidence. Those are some of the things that I think are going to be really valuable that we touch on today. From a templating standpoint, look, for those of you who've done business with us, you know that the interaction that you have with our design team is a part of what makes Opensense valuable, like making your brand vision reality. Not every customer needs that level of touch. And so I can't wait to show you, we have a templates gallery that you can choose from to bootstrap your deployment of Opensense without needing to ever talk to someone on our design team. Our built-in user preview often will be utilizing the Opensense platform to make tweaks and modifications to the email signature. We want to make it really easy for you to validate those modifications. And we do that with built-in preview, as well as the audit trails that we're going to be, that we're providing within the platform. So with that said, I don't want to bore you to death with a deck. We're going to toggle between the deck and the UI. So let me go ahead and pull the UI over here. And the first screen that we're going to click into is the Designer Studio. So the first thing that I want to show you here is you can obviously interact with our design team as required, and we're always happy to build out templates from scratch for our customers. However, many of our customers want to utilize or want to be able to do some of this on their own. And so the first thing I want to demonstrate for you today, or at least introduce you to, is our template gallery. These are a number of different templates that we have input into Opensense that we've already validated and QA'd. We know that these look beautiful and resilient across all of your environments. You are able to use these templates out of the box and just simply swap in your color codes, your logos, map in your images, your photos, and all of the like. And this is really designed to help create a more streamlined, user-friendly experience where you can point, click, and go across your organization. Now, taking a step back, we always are going to be able to backstop you with design support if you need it. But again, we wanted to empower you to be able to execute your brand vision out of the box with Opensense. From there, let's go ahead and click into a template. This is our demo template for the new UI. And obviously this screen has a lot that our old screen did not. One of the key things I want to share with you here is the ability to perform a real-time preview of a user signature based on any tweaks or modifications that you may have made. In this case, I've chosen my own. Going back to the Toyota to Ferrari analogy, if you hit that accelerator too hard, you could veer off course. And I think when you're empowered to be the person who hits the button and your signatures go live to hundreds, if not thousands of employees, empowering you with the confidence before you hit go is, I think, one of the key benefits of some of these elements that we've built in. So employee preview being one of those. But then also, if we get into a scenario where, hey, there's some edits that need to be made to this template, again, service is a huge part of our offering. You can always ask us, but we wanted to empower you with tools directly within Opensense for you to validate the changes that you're making on the fly. For instance, if I had to make a change here, just input the word test, you'll notice that there's an audit trail view here for me to be able to evaluate the changes that I've made relative to the changes that existed prior. Again, this is a very nuanced capability. It's designed for our power users. But again, we want to give you that confidence that when you do accelerate in your Ferrari, that you're going in a straight line and that you are not herking and jerking. And I think these are some of the tools and capabilities that we're going to be providing for you directly within the platform. In addition to that, elements like which groups are these signatures assigned to are available right here. Again, these are notable enhancements and improvements from a previous environment where all of this stuff was siloed and you had to click into multiple screens in order to accomplish them. So let's get back into our slideshow. Let's talk a little bit about sort of the next phase or the next section in our UI that we're very excited to showcase. Email ad campaigns. The idea behind this is pretty straightforward. I mean, the idea is basically, remember all those times that you've ever asked someone to add an email signature banner to their email signature because you know intuitively that doing so is going to drive outcomes that you're looking for. So not only does our UI and our platform make it incredibly easy for you to activate campaigns for your organization, we have a whole suite of integrations that allow you to run targeting. So Salesforce, HubSpot, Eloqua, Marketo, Customer.io, you name it. And if we don't have integrations that align with your tech stack today, we're always happy to build them. We've enhanced our unified our dashboards in order for you to be able to tell much more coherent stories about what's live for who and what seems to be performing really well. And in general, the overall experience is improved from a performance standpoint. So let's go ahead and take a look at this part of our UI. I'm going to go ahead and bring my screen back over here. We're going to click into our campaign section. And the first thing that you're going to notice when this toggles through is a repository of all of the campaigns that are live for the organization. Now, this view is helpful for me as an administrator to kind of just keep stock of what's out there. But often I may want to access a concept here, the editorial calendar. The editorial calendar is a phenomenal way for me be able to click into today and see not only which banners are live today, how they're performing, and also which teams or targeting are they aligned with. So I can see, for instance, that our CS team is the only one running this particular banner, and we're doing pretty good in terms of our performance today. That is very exciting. I'm going to go ahead and click back into the campaigns tab, and we'll actually click into one of the banners that we're actually running right now. And I just want to share some very key highlights on this. First and foremost, the way you want to think about your data, obviously on a per banner basis, which the report that's loading up here is going to demonstrate for you. And then we're also going to take a look at how banners perform against one another, or how different teams or different campaigns are performing against one another. In this case, we can see very high level analytics on deliveries, views, clicks, our click-through rate. Don't forget, we have this incredible scheduling functionality that's just going to make it super simple for you to set it and forget it. So you don't need to spend all day in here every day. UTMs will automatically be appended for you to be able to see this data mapping back into your attribution. However, a lot of our customers really appreciate the ability to be able to drill down into individual recipient engagement. Who are the senders? Who are the recipients? What are the date and times of the interaction? What do my audiences look like? What types of devices are they using? Does that encourage me to optimize my creative even further? Are there any accounts that appear to be particularly engaged? These are some of the insights that OpenSense should be able to surface. Also, downstream of this, all of this data can be piped back into your sources of truth, whether that's your CRM, whether that's a data lake, you name it. And so you don't have to utilize OpenSense as the place to analyze this data if you don't want. But if you do, we have some really amazing capabilities that are built into our performance tab here. And really what I might be interested in this scenario, we talked about the CS team earlier. Well, I actually want to see how the banners for the CS team tend to be performing. I'm going to toggle over my CS tag. This indicates to me only the banners that are live for CS. And I can very quickly glean which banners appear to be performing better than the other. And this is actually quite interesting. We have two banners that are introducing the new UI, this bright light blue banner and this dark, a little bit wordy banner. And we actually were able to really kind of pick up our performance here from 0.8% to 2.4%. This is indicative of how you might utilize this data to perform A/B testing, which we've actually done here to optimize our banners to drive the most engagement. So your ability to execute your campaigns can be aligned to your groups of senders with our integration suites. You can align it to groups of recipients, but ultimately you'll always be able to tell a story. This isn't just about looking pretty. This is about driving business outcomes. We're going to go ahead and toggle back to our slides here, and we're going to introduce our next concept, digital business cards. So obviously how you show up matters. And when most of your interactions happening over email or Zoom, we already have discussed the ways that we're going to impact and influence the brand moments that result from those interactions. But events are coming back in a big way. And even us here at Opensense, we see events as a critical part of our go-to-market strategy, our growth strategy, etc. And we want to make sure that we're showing up the right way. And part of that might be getting, nice, polos with our logo on it, so that when we're working our booths or when we go out to lunch with prospects or customers, we're dressed appropriately. But the experience of interacting with your business card is one that we've seen evolve. And the beautiful thing about our offering here is that it provides for you a unified platform to, number one, unify the brand experience, email signatures, digital business cards, totally custom branding. Number two, we're able to utilize the centralized data that's automatically being pulled in from your directories and feeding out to your signatures. That same data can be used to drive the content that's within your digital business card. And so really quickly, this is all unified into the platform now. In my business cards section, you'll notice just like that, we have a designer studio. And what's really cool about this is that same level of customization that you're used to with your email signatures, you'll now have the ability to customize your digital business cards as well. And for example, we actually just attended a conference where we had the branding ballpark. And a part of the design concept there was to have digital business cards that actually looked a little bit more like baseball cards. Branding ballpark, baseball cards. So you have the ability in OpenSense to curate those. And then from a user standpoint, if I just pull over I'm actually going to try to do this in real time here, pull over my phone. I'm going to go ahead and click into my icon here. You can see that this pops open my digital business card. And if I'm interfacing with a customer, imagine the impact of being at a branded booth, communicating my information with a branded digital business card that aligns with the booth branding, and the ease with which I'm able to get the information into their hands so that we can continue our conversation and our relationship. All of that reflects really darn well on my brand. And it also facilitates a business outcome, which is the ability to communicate about next steps with my customer. So digital business cards are an exciting new offering built into the platform. Our customers have been asking us for it, and I'd encourage you, if you're an existing customer or a prospect, to speak with your account manager about what impact this might have on your business. Our next product spotlight, the sales insights and analytics. So this is a very exciting capability. And basically, the premise behind this is very straightforward. Um, Meet your customer where they are. And what I mean by that is, did not mean to click there. You know, as sellers, often we have processes that we adhere to, which sometimes are kind of just trial and error. Sometimes it's just finger in the wind where, imagine a scenario, I send you a proposal, I don't hear anything back. Um, well, I'm going to follow up with you in 3 days. And if I don't hear from you, I'm going to follow up with you in three more days. And I'm going to keep following up until you either tell me you're not interested, or you're ready to sign a contract, or you're ready to set up a follow-up meeting. We wanted to equip our sellers with the insights that they needed in the channel that they utilize to drive the business outcomes, which is email. So imagine a scenario where I'm now sending an email and I know exactly who of my buyers is actually reading my email. Are they reading my proposal? Is it the decision maker? Is it the influencer? Which pages are they reviewing? Is there a particular element that they seem to be particularly interested in? Okay, cool. Now I know when to follow up, with whom, and about what topic. This allows me to be informed when I open up my Zoom meeting, and ensure that we're covering the right topics to get to the right place within the 30 minutes that we've been allotted, for example. All of this with Opensense is possible, and all of it's done in an incredibly compliant fashion, meaning we're universally able to adhere to opt-in, opt-out, and preferences to ensure that this level of capability applies to the right audience, and not those who've expressly opted out. What does this look like? So everything to this point has been a administrator's point of view. What I'm showing you here is a seller's point of view. They're one of the few user personas that would log into Opensense that's not an administrator. But they'd log in for a reason, which is to inform their next steps to increase the effectiveness of those brand moments and ultimately downstream business outcomes. So first thing that you're seeing here is my performance individually, the number of emails that I've sent in the last 60 days, the general open rate, views, my total impact, document views, document downloads, website visits, etc. All of this is just high level data that's been surfaced. You've never had this level of insight into what you're actually doing after you hit send on an email. But an example of where this is valuable for me that I can sort of speak to right now is, I have a customer that I'm working with, and we have a contract that's out. And I see, for instance, this morning there was a review of that contract and a subsequent visit to our pricing page. That is really valuable insight to me. To know that, hey, like maybe there was something not totally clear about the pricing in the contract that I sent. Do I need to reach out and suggest perhaps a review of our pricing model and a alignment on license counts? The answer is probably. Um, and so this allows me to follow up in a manner that is reflective of a knowledgeable, helpful salesperson. And ultimately, this should help me shave days off of my cycle time to ensure that I'm getting this deal in before the end of the month. So, to recap, we've discussed a handful of capabilities that go way beyond just basic email signature management. The premise here is that every interaction that we have with our customer, more and more of it's happening digitally. Every interaction is an opportunity to create a brand moment, positive or negative, Our platform is designed to give you a universal point of view on delivering positive brand moments across all of your interactions to facilitate the business outcomes that we're all looking for. How we show up is who we are. When we talk to a customer, we know what we're talking about. We know we're doing it in a highly compliant fashion. These are just some of the ways that this new UI is going to empower your organization. We'll be setting up follow-on demonstrations to get into the weeds a little bit further on some of these capabilities. But just understand that all of this is accessible through one platform, and that's the new Opensense UI. In terms of next steps for you, just know that this is all available for you today if you're a current customer. Talk to your account manager to opt in. We have a full rollout coming in July. So if you haven't opted in, strap in, changes are coming. We already have enhanced our knowledge base and support resources. But any one of you who are customers, if you want a more in-depth training, reach out to your account manager and have something set up. We're happy to walk you through it. And then stay in the know. One of the things that I'm proud of about OpenSense is that we're constantly innovating and developing, and it's not just on a whim. We go to where the market takes us, meaning what our customers ask for, we build. And so we want to keep you in the loop in terms of the latest developments and happenings. So please, next time you're presented with the opportunity to do so, we'd love for you to sign up for our newsletter to stay on top of all the things that are happening with OpenSense. I'm Bobby Narang. I'm one of the co-founders here. I really appreciate y'all taking some time out of your day to learn a little bit more about OpenSense. It looks like we might have a few questions that I'll go ahead and quickly address. Uh, Question number one is, are the document downloads from anything downloaded from the landing page users go to from the email signature banner? It tracks all the way through. Just to be really clear, our document downloads actually are separate from our email signature offering. Document downloads are, frankly, any document that a salesperson might be sending to a prospect through their sales process. It might be a piece of collateral, it might be a contract, it might be a white paper. So certainly that email that they send will have a signature, and you'll probably have banners at the bottom. But in the body of their email, they're attaching a document to help facilitate the next steps in their deal. Today, unless you go through roundabout ways, you have no idea whether that document's even being viewed or downloaded. But OpenSense has an offering that allows sellers to have that feedback and insight. And that's our insights and analytics product. Another question we have is, can the digital business cards be fully customized design-wise? Like, how can we upload our own graphics for the email signature? Um, like, the answer is yes. Everything that we'll do for you is totally customizable. One of the big differences between the digital business card offering and our signature offering is that there's development and works for a low code option. So similar to the way that we provide our design resources for your email signature, you're going to have design resources available for your digital business cards, and you'll be equipped to be able to make one-off changes as needed. Are there any other questions that I can answer for any of you who've stuck around here till the end of our session today? If not, keep your eyes open for follow-up resources. We'd love for you to stay in touch with us through the newsletter. For those of you who are customers of ours, we take an immense amount of pride in earning your business and keeping your business. We're not a company that's raised $100 million of other people's money to grow the business. We've built it by consistently delivering for you, hopefully innovating and continually adding to the value that we're providing. We want to hear from you. We value you. We build what you want. And we hope to deliver the best service experience that you have in any with any vendor in your tech stack. Sincerely appreciate everyone taking some time out of their day to learn a little bit more about OpenSense. I'm Bobby Narang. If we're not already connected on LinkedIn, please feel free to reach out to me and connect. Would love to keep in touch. Thank you so much.